Hey guys, welcome to class. Today we'll be focusing a little bit more on the knee, stability, strength, a little bit of stretching into it. I noticed a lot of time in classes when people do Warrior 3, Malasana, chair pose, etc., their knee tends to come inwards a little bit. So today we'll focus a little bit more on how to fix and correct that problem, if you will. You won't need anything special for class, just a mat, enough space for you to practice, maybe a little bit of a smile, and yeah, let's get right into it. To find your way to tabletop, we'll start with a little warm up in the hips. Bring the shoulders over the wrists, bring the hips over the knees. Beautiful knees that we'll work with today. Now, the main thing with knees, and go ahead, you can find a little bit of your own warm up as you shift forwards and backwards. The main thing with the knees is that we want to strengthen and adapt the muscles around the knee, or mostly the thigh and the hips. The knees itself, they're quite stable. There's not a lot of muscles surrounding them in and of itself. So that's why we bring the focus to the muscles. Today, more of the hips. We'll focus a bit more on the glutes and a little bit more on the hip adductors. When the knee comes inwards, go ahead and take a little bit of a wrist warm up. Just move the fingers out, let the elbow creases come inwards as you go side to side. When the knees fall inwards in Warrior II, that's where I was going to go. It means the inside of the thigh is a little bit too tight, or the glutes, the muscles on the outside, they're a little bit too weak or not engaged enough. So today we'll focus on engaging those and stretching a little bit more on the insides. Whenever you're ready, return back to normal. And then let's take the left knee out towards the side. Try to keep the back nice and flat. So we're still in tabletop, we're just lifting it up. This is where the glute activation already begins. And just to find a little bit more control of it, very gently, keep the knee bent as you reach it behind you and kick it up towards the sky. And then we'll go backwards, out towards the side as high as you can whilst the back remains flat. We'll do it 3 times, so bring it back behind you, kick the heel up, and come back out towards the left. One more time. Every time you move, keep it a little bit higher as you move between the two as well. Out towards the side to return, and then gently set it down. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Stay nice and flat. Let the right knee go out towards the side, and then softly reach it back, kick the heel up, out towards the right, nice and high, and then bring it back, heel up towards the sky. Keep it nice and high as you come back towards the right, and then one more time. Up and back, and back through center. And gently set it down. Maybe you already feel it quite a bit. I sure do. Just a few moments is plenty of time to fire up those muscles. Let's find downward facing dog. It's a very gentle stretch in the glutes. If you want to, and let the hips fall side to side. Take some time to just stretch out through the legs. The hamstrings also impact the knees. We're not too focused on those today, but it doesn't hurt to lengthen those. Stay long through the arms. And very gently tiptoe the feet all the way up towards the top of your mat. Bring the toes to touch. Find the forward fold. And inhale, lift and lengthen up halfway. As you exhale, fold back down. This time wriggle the feet to about hip width distance. Now let's find chair pose. Sit the hips down low and lift the body up. Arms can come to heart center, or if you prefer, lift them all the way up and back. But see if you can keep the knees apart from one another. Keep them bent. This way we're really using the glutes. When you have the knees together, you sort of strengthen the inside if you squeeze them, which is good for other reasons, but for today, we're more focusing on lengthening those, and the glutes are not as active. So keep them nice and apart, sit a little bit lower. Because the knees are separate, we focus a little bit more on stability as well there. Hold steady here. Try to keep the spine neutral. We sit a little bit lower for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fold back down. Uttanasana. Maybe straighten the legs a little bit more. Maybe go one at a time.
Bring the feet together. Find the halfway lift. Inhale. As you exhale, plant the hands, step both feet back, downward, facing dog. Right leg up towards the sky. Step it forwards in between the hands. Drop the back knee. We'll glide forwards and down. Low crescent lunge. As you exhale, plant the hands. Lift that right foot all the way up and back. Three-legged dog. And then step it forward once again, center of the mat. This time we'll shift forward into Warrior 3. So float the back foot off. Lift the torso up, bring the hands to heart or reach the mat, whatever you prefer. And again, flatten through the back. And if you have the strength and the stability in the hamstring, lengthen it out a little bit. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the back toes, plant the hands, step back to downward facing dog. Lift the left leg up towards the sky and step it in between the hands. All the way forwards, drop the right knee, low crescent lunge. A little bit of stretch through the quadriceps, front of the right thigh before we come back to three-legged dog. Left leg all the way up and back. Try to keep the weight even in the shoulders. And then step it forwards once again, Virabhadrasana 3. Lift the torso, lean out and float the back foot up. Keep the standing leg bent whilst you find your balance. And then maybe straighten it out a little bit. You can feel with the hands to see if the spine is roughly neutral with the hips. Or once again, tabletop. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Land the back toes, plant the hands downward, facing dog. Let's drop the knees and the elbows down. Pull forwards into up dog. And roll backwards into downward, facing. Let's tiptoe the feet forwards. Place them on the outsides of the hands. Let's find Malasana. Try to keep the spine neutral. You can wriggle a little bit side to side. And it might be nice to put something underneath the heels, especially if you notice that the lower back is sort of rounding a little bit here. And try to keep it nice and long. If you need to lift the heels, please do so. Stay on the tippy toes. You can even roll up the mat just a little bit. Find some stability there. At the same time, keep pressing open the knees as you engage those glutes again to open them up. Keep pressing the outside edges of the feet down as well. Maybe this is a little bit more active than you're used to. That's okay. We're forcing the muscles to work at the moment. Let's hold for another moment, and we'll create a little bit of space. Let's plant the hands towards the floor. Find forward fold. So lift the hips up, turn the toes in, and then turn the toes out. Sit back down. Remember to keep the spine nice and long. Let's go between the two. As you exhale, fold forwards, turn the toes in. As you inhale, you can sit back down. Exhale. And inhale. Twice more. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Sit down low. Let's find an active squat. So lift up a little bit more. Maybe you have the hips at about knee height. And then softly stand all the way up. Hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, sit back down into that active squat. Fire up the glutes, keep squeezing the knees out. Maybe sit a little bit lower, but again, try not to go all the way where you round the lower back. And we'll come all the way back up, hands to heart. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, we'll sit back down, active squat for another moment. And we'll plant the hands, step both feet back, high plank pose. Let's flow a little bit, knees, chest, chin down. Pull forwards into cobra or up dog. And roll back, downward facing. Bring the right knee all the way in towards the chest and then set the foot down center of the mat. And drop the back heel. We'll find Warrior II. Open the arms out wide. Maybe widen the stance a touch. And sink down with the hips. And have a look at that front knee. If you're someone that has a tendency to splay inwards, this is the class for you. So let's focus on bringing it back. Press the outside edge down. Squeeze a little bit more through the glute. Think about opening the hips. Back leg stays nice and strong. And again, outside edges of the feet press down. Both sides of the back one as well. You might feel a deep stretch on the inside. That's the hip adductors, the ones that bring the knees towards one another. And then go a little bit deeper. Stay nice and soft and think about pressing that knee out towards the right. Sit down low for 5, 4, 3, maybe lower it a touch more, 2, and 1. Plant the hands either side of the front foot, lift it all the way up and back to 3-legged dog. And then step it forwards in between the hands. Lift yourself up and forwards, Warrior 3, back leg floats up. And then very gently drop the back foot, plant the hands, and step back downward, facing dog. Left knee comes all the way in towards the chest, and then you set it down. Right heel drops in, open up into Warrior 2 on the other side. Sit down low. Try to keep the shoulders soft, but once again, open through the hips. Back leg nice and strong. Front knee roughly same direction as the big toe. Maybe you can even see it on the inside there, but again, keep squeezing it out. Sit down low. Make the legs work. Breathe steadily. You can look at the back hand to see if it's in line with the front. Go a little bit further down. Make sure the back glute is also squeezed, both of them. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Couple the hands down towards the front. Step back into 3-legged dog. Left leg goes all the way up and back. And then once again, it comes forwards into Warrior 3. Back leg floats off. Chest is lifted. Think cobra. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Find your way back. Downward. Facing dog. Now let's drop the knees. Find tabletop. So we've worked a little bit with the glutes here. And now it's time to stretch the inside of the legs a little bit more. A really nice one for that is frog pose. It can be quite intense. So for today, we'll take half frog. Let's keep the hands planted where they are. And let's take the right leg up towards the side. Notice that when you lift the chest, the hips can go a little bit further down. You already feel on the inside of the legs. Before we go into that, let's work the glutes a little bit. So firmly ground, maybe lean out towards the left a little bit and see if you can float the leg up just a little bit. For 3, 2, 1, set it down and then glide into it. You can even widen just a little bit, but again, think about grounding the outside edge of the foot. Think about lifting the inside arch and maybe glide the hips down. Once again, notice if the lower back is sort of even. If you notice that you're tucking the tailbone, you're rounding all the way, bring it back to neutral. Enjoy the stretch for a moment. And breathe softly. You can stay here for however long you want. For today, we'll gently switch sides. So bring the knee back in and set the left foot out towards the side. Before you go into it, remember we'll have to lift it for another moment. So when you're ready, float the foot out towards the side. Straighten the leg as best as you can. For 3, 2, and 1. Gently set it down. Ground the outside edge. And glide the hips downwards. Feel the stretch. Might even focus on dropping the left hip a little bit more. Should feel a stretch from the knee, inside of the thigh, towards the groin even. Keep most of the weight in the legs. The arms are just there for balance, a little bit of support. Nothing too much. If you want to, shift forwards and backwards till you find that sweet spot where you need this stretch the most. And let's gently come back through center. Swing the legs around, roll onto your back. We'll set up for
One of the last poses here, bridge pose. Really nice way to open up the front of the hips, but to also strengthen the glutes. So let the shoulders rest, let the arms rest. Bring the heels in close. You might even be able to touch them with the fingertips. And then from there, squeeze the glutes, lift the hips up towards the sky. Keep the arms down towards the floor. Feel the glutes squeeze to lift the hips up. We'll go up and down a few times. So gently lower it down just to hover barely above the mat. And once again, squeeze it up. Lift the hips, open the chest a little bit more, and lower it down. All the weight is in the heels and in the shoulders as the hips lift up once again. And lower it down. Pay special attention to using the bum for this one. I know you can do it without, but really squeeze it. See and feel the difference. Lower it down. One more time, all the way up. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. We'll hold. Keep everything nice and strong. Might even think about pulling the heels towards the shoulders to fire up the hamstring. Create a little bit of strength there. But don't forget to lift the hips up. Keep squeezing. You can even use the hands a little bit to go further. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very gently release. Roll the spine down. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall open. Once again, we find up to the hip adductors inside of the thigh. And we'll hold here for the rest of the class. So you can place one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest. Reclined butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana. A really beautiful way to passively stretch the insides of the legs and to relax the body. And focus on the breath. Feel the rise and fall of the belly. And think about relaxing. Think about releasing. And surrender the weight of the legs to gravity. Notice that the more attention you bring to the legs and the hips, the more you can find little bits of tension to release, little bits of tightness that can open up. Stay here for as long as you need. Thank you so much for practicing with me here. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you feel the legs. I hope you feel the bum. And if you learned something from this, if you enjoyed it, leave a like or leave a comment below or message me and let me know what you think. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next class.